Alright, here we go. Okay, here we have a video documenting the problems at 172 Allball Park. Our first topic of concern is right here at the bottom of the road. We have all this water that's been pouring out of the ground. It's coming basically from underneath the ground here, and it's coming up. I've been putting as much as I can on here, and it's still coming up, making a heck of a mess. The problem is too, here, with all this water coming out here, okay, it goes across here to my neighbor's property, and and he's not too happy about it, okay. This is our house slash garage, and I'll show you here in a second, but here in this property here, I have water that is coming into the basement of this property. When I built the place about 5 years ago, we put in French drains on the back side of the house, but they have since clogged up from all the sedimentation and all the disturbance in the ground, okay? And I'll explain that in more detail here. This is the access road that they were given to get to the gas line, and there were, right in front of me here at that brush pile, there were two big trees, two elms, and they were huge. And when they took the trees down, they had a big machine that drove down through here, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But when he drove down through the leach bed, and then he pulled the tree up, okay, roots and all, he disturbed the soil surface, topsoil and underneath. But by him driving over it with that big machine, I don't know how many, it was huge. But I was pulling, after they left that day, I was pulling pieces of terracotta pipe, off the ground that they had because there were these big ruts, okay, and he smashed all the terracotta pipe that would have been part of the leach bed. Okay, now to give you a reference, right here are the boats, okay? Right across from the boats on this hillside, here's where the spring house is, okay? This is an open spring that nobody checked at all, okay? I mean, nobody. It was, I told them about it, and they never ever checked it out, okay? But you can see it right down through here, okay? Right there is the spring house, and it's an open spring. But when they were drilling, that white Byrite lubricant was inside the spring house there, all right? And it just comes down through here and leaches out into the field below. And again, that was the person who owns this property, Eugene Kist, he has no clue. He's in a nursing home. He bought the property on back taxes for, I think he paid $200 for a tenth of an acre here for the property, which includes the well spring house right there, okay? So, come back up in here, and I'm gonna walk up the right of way. Now here's what they did. This was pouring, when it rained yesterday, the water pours out of here. I mean, it comes, there's a spot right here, or down in here, but this, you could just it's almost like Niagara Falls, okay? The amount of water that's pouring out of here after a good, rain, okay? Also, there's a drain I have, let me back up. There's a drain here from the the French drain. And like I said, it used to, right here it is, okay? Here's the French drain, okay? And you can see it right there. Now, it hasn't drained water in about a year and a half, okay? Like I said, that's the French drain from the basement up here, okay? And like I said, she hasn't worked at all. And my guess is there's a lot of sediment that had clogged up the drain pipe, okay? It's one of those plastic pipes that has the slots in it so the water can enter it and drain out. But again, I have water entering that property right there. Over on that side is Jeremy's house, okay? And again, Jeremy has a lot of trouble and issues with his well as well. Like I said, they came one day when he was working and they took his water away from him, and he's in the same boat as me. His water is bad, you know, dirty, contaminated, and so now here's the right-of-way that they had, okay? And they've leveled it out. You can see the tracks here, okay? And you can see some of the problems here, all right? But over here on the hillside, somewhere right in here, right on the other side of that tree there, the water comes out of the ground a lot in that pile of brush. Up here at the grape arbor behind that tree is where the secondary well is. No electricity, but there's a well there, okay? All right, and like I said, this whole entire secondary right-of-way, it becomes a swamp, and the water, it's like a river. I mean, the water just rolls off this hillside. There's a few spots here where the water was coming out of the ground sporadically. Here's the gas line, okay? And you can see the cuts they made look good enough, okay? But when it rains, okay, I can see water cascading down the gas line, almost like it's not saturating into the ground. Okay, now at one time I had anywhere from a 1.5 feet to 2 feet of topsoil, which they removed, okay? And when they replaced it or backgraded it, all right, I maybe have anywhere from 2 to 6 inches of topsoil here, okay? And I have no idea where they took my topsoil to. They just took it and dumped it somewhere, all right? Which I think was wrong, you know, because and again, all these trees they took out of here, there used to be a small path basically up through here, okay? It was a narrow strip for the old gas lines, and when they came in, they just obliterated everything. I'm using a GoPro like camera, so it's kind of hard to see maybe, but up on top where all those trees are piled up, okay, after they did this and they cut and removed all the trees, all my trees start falling over here. We had that big windstorm 2 years ago, and I had probably 20 to 25 trees that fell over easily. They also said when they were doing construction, had a logger come, and the logger wasn't allowed on here to get the trees because it was an active work zone, and it continued to be that way. So all my logs that they cut are sitting up there, just rotted away. I mean, there's, you know, yeah, they're rotten, non-usable, and even to use them for firewood now, they're pulpy. You know, a lot of people don't want it because the wood's rotted. Moving along, okay, here is still on, now we're on the actual LOD, okay? Okay, here's where it gets interesting, okay? I have two areas I want to show you for sinkholes. One is right here, okay? It's starting to sink, okay? I have a yellow marker here indicating the area in concern, okay? All right, now to give you a better visual, okay? They were drilling one day, okay? The first pipe that comes through, they were drilling here. Now what happened was there was a guy standing right here, and he said, well, I said, what are you doing? He said, marking the drill. Well, here, I said, my well's right there, okay? And where that flag is at, that's where they had drilled, okay? And the drill bit went from here, it went up here, up to the, up that direction, okay, to the plastic drum. I'll show you that in a minute. And then when they retracted the drill bit, they left a cavity in the earth, anywhere from, I'm going to say 10 to 18 feet. But we had a company come in and put a camera down the well, and you can see the fracture in the well casing. And my water level dropped dramatically, and the amount of water coming into my well also dropped dramatically. All right. Now, the barite, they had a guy camping out here, okay? Right in here, right about here, there was barite coming out of the ground here, and right over here, there were two spots where it was coming out of the ground, okay? And like I said, now I got these here depressions that would indicate to me that the ground is settling into those cavities that weren't filled in. And also right in front of me here, hard to tell, but it's absolutely sinking concave-like, right? Now there were two big pine trees here that I cut down only because after they did this, the wind coming across there is horrific. And these pine trees were about 130 feet tall, hemlocks. They were leaning toward the house, so I had them cut down. Okay, here we have another area where I've seen the water, not hard, but again coming out of the ground here, okay? Over here, another area where the water's been coming out, and you can see it right now, okay? It comes out of here a lot, all right? An awful lot. It's like a river. I mean, it's absolutely bad, you know. And I don't want to see them putting in ditches and culverts, and this is my yard, okay? If they do, I'm gonna, you know, you can see the water. I never ever had water before, never. And now it's like, now it's just, the water just, it's just not saturating enough into the ground, you know. Okay, here is where the sinkhole was, and you can see also it's still not level. So the sinkhole was right here, okay, right next to the house, and the hole itself, the cavity, when I fell into it, the cavity went that direction toward my house, okay. Here's the back of my house too, where when it rains now, all this water is just bubbling up from the ground up into my basement, okay, and it's ruined everything, you know, carpeting, everything is a mess. Here comes the water truck. He comes twice a week to put water in the water buffalo. All right. Okay, there's Jeremy's house over there. And again, a lot of these here culverts that they put in, okay, of course they're all going to drain over in his direction. And like I said, his water is bad, real bad. And, you know, I just wish somebody would, you know, help him out, you know. And my neighbor above me, Mark, is up above me here. His well collapsed and he's had all kind of problems too. All right. So, you know, and if you look at the hillside here, you can see where the grass is kind of like laying down in a motion towards me. And this is where water comes out of the ground right in front of me here. And it's like, it looks like just a river of water coming off the hillside, okay? And there's also up on top here, you can see way at the very top, almost like there's very little grass, okay? There's nothing, it looks just like bare clay up there. The trees that I cut down, the two big ones were as big as that pine tree in front of the house. That's how big they were. So you can see why I had them cut down. They were definitely scary.